Movie Holics! What up, guys? I'm Kyler Wilson.
I'm Monica Casari.
And this is another episode of The Before.
The After.
And The After.
So this fool buys me this cup and thinks that it's his now. And he wants to show it off to everybody like it's his. It's actually mine. Just so everybody knows.
The movie 10 Cloverfield Lane. The actor John Goodman. And that girl from Scott Pilgrim. My reaction? I'm excited. Her reaction?
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
Gurners. Gurners.
That was fan-freaking-tastic. Holy crap.
That's what we're talking about, okay, guys?
Golly, man. That was a movie.
What a
God
nice spin on a monster, alien, or
whatever you consider the first movie, it's a great spin on it, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was fantastic.
Putting you in real life situations with non-believable situations.
Man, I'm telling you what, that was amazing. I had a fantastic time. I had ups, I had downs, I had lefts and rights. I was physically ill at certain points where I was just like, I was stressed, you know, like I was.
Yeah, movies that stress you out. That's what they're there for.
That was an experience, man. And when I talk about when I do all the bitching that I do about movies and how they're supposed to sell their illusion of the reality, like this is what I'm talking about. Alright, so previews. We've sat on this a day. I'm anxious to get into it. I think it's going to be a pretty short episode just to give you guys the heads up because we really, really liked it. So there's not really debate topics here. So we're just going to cover the previews and go through everything, and bing, bam, boom, we'll call it a day. So we saw a preview. I don't think we've been able to talk about Criminal yet. I know that we've seen the preview a couple times, but we haven't recorded our afters. So Criminal is selfless.
Basically.
Right? With Ryan Reynolds. I'm not even joking.
Who sat in the boardroom and was like,
This is like the Martian versus Interstellar debacle again. Like it
was pretty much legit. Wow.
Like both movies feature old men's personalities that get put into Ryan Reynolds. I just don't understand.
I guess in this case, Ryan.
I guess Ryan Reynolds into him. Yeah. Okay, my bad. But still,
I think we flipped.
Still, I could probably cut up a really funny trailer to that. That said, the movie I guess looks all right, but it's cut with this like really inspirational music, and it just really throws me off every time.
I don't particularly fancy.
I feel like I'm watching like a race to the end, sort of like, you know, like what was it? Not Blades of Glory. God, Chariots of Fire. You know, it's like dun 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 dun. You know, and then the slow mo, whatever. Anyways, moving on. Hardcore Henry, we already talked about, and I think it's gonna be pretty good.
I think it'll be interesting. I'm just scared it's gonna make me a little bit nauseous.
Yeah,
while watching it.
I can see it, but the like
or
every time I see it,
catch anything.
This was a different one, wasn't it? This wasn't
just
the exact
a tad
same
bit.
one. Yeah, there were just a few shots that were different. I think it's probably gonna be pretty interesting though. I think you're gonna have to see it at the theater to really get it. Huntsman. What is it called? Huntsman Winter's Tale?
Origins.
Oh, God. Like, this is a prequel, but I'm so confused because clearly it's... The Huntsman is like... And I just don't...
It's like Disney is like creating Marvel versus DC within their own universe.
I know.
So it's like they have their regular stories, and then they have these stories, and then they have these stories, and they're just, like, oh, let's do this, and whole new story. A retelling.
But now it's with, like, I guess it's Elsa. It's got to be Elsa, right? Hey,
There
interns!
there are so many theories. So that's why it starts to get a little bit back and forth.
Interns!
They were there fighting each
Stop
other.
You're giving away our secret. They're not supposed to know it's the house.
She's literally trying to play with Stevie while she's trying to sleep.
Anyways, moving on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the preview looked good. Ultimately, the only thing I'm going to care about is the battle between the Ice Queen and...
The special effects do look pretty good. I mean, so I don't know. Well,
yeah,
but
that's all I really care
I agree
about.
with you.
I feel like they're going to overshadow the Huntsman in general. I feel like they just needed a foot.
Yeah, just that segue.
Huntsman is the foot into the door of what they actually wanted to create.
And it's like, I guess there's appears to be a pretty big sex scene in it with him. Like, there's like a quick cut where he like ripped his shirt off and he's like,
They gotta cater to the ladies.
Anyways, I guess he didn't love Snow White as much as he said. The Nice Guys. We've covered it a few times. I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna want to see it.
Yes.
Boom. Ghostbusters.
How over of this preview am I? And then watch in a couple next week they're gonna release a whole new trailer.
Oh, they already released the international trailer, and people are like, "Oh, see, it's good." And I'm like, "No, it's not. There's nothing good about this. It is not good at all."
Everybody's
like, "Oh, you don't like it because it's got women in it."
Let's be
real. It has nothing to do with that.
When I was a kid and I watched Ghostbusters, it scared me. That movie scared me, and I don't know if it's because of the way the things looked in the movie, but that movie actually scared me when I was a kid.
Well, there you go.
But now it don't. I feel like we're in a glowing rave party.
I mean,
walking down New York.
Everybody wants to be like, "Oh,
New York glow run." That's what it is.
Like, in the preview, it's so frustrating because they mention 30 years ago. Like it's how they open it up. 30 years ago, New York was saved from disaster or something. But now there's a new team. But the old Ghostbusters have nothing. They don't exist in this world.
So it's like.
So I don't like.
Let us remind you that there was a previous.
Yeah, let us bring attention to the fact that these people aren't in this movie.
Are you non-movie watchers? Let us let you know that there is another one with dudes though. But we're not going to tell you that. We're just going to let you know that there is another one.
So frustrating.
Yeah, ultimately that's all it is.
Skip it. Skip it.
I might Netflix it.
Skip it.
I feel like it's going to fall flat on its face. I feel like they're going to try to inject so much comedic humor, slapstick, blit, that's just going to... And they're probably going to show every joke in their previews to where when you get to that, you're just going to be like...
Slapping somebody in the face can be funny.
Especially by a black woman.
But, for her to do it a second time... you got your kind of cheap laugh the first time because she slapped the ghost right out of her. But then a second time, when clearly this ghost was knocked out of her or whatever, unless they're just trying to show us, the viewer, that the ghost is out, but she couldn't see it, which would be fucking stupid. She slaps her the second time, I'm like, what's funny about that? Come on. Oh God, I could talk about the Ghostbusters forever.
Let's not.
X-Men, same preview that we've seen, nothing different. I'm just not into this film. I hate to say it.
Can we just remove Jennifer Lawrence from the equation?
Yeah, she's a huge detractor for me. Every time I see her,
that's the main reason I don't want to see it. I feel like it's become the Jennifer Lawrence show, and
I don't want to be in the Mystique makeup, even though that's the character.
That's what burns me up the most.
Like,
you're gonna do this character, I'd be like, ready.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting paid crap tons of money, man.
This is why you bitching, because this is nope, not even gonna do it. So I feel like I might enjoy this movie aside from her. I feel like I'm gonna watch the movie and get mad about her.
Well, I'm gonna get mad about her, but I'm also gonna watch the movie and get mad about the way that they've messed with time from the original movies to now. And I've already said that a bazillion times. I can't make everybody understand that, so I'm just gonna have to eat that one.
We'll just have to take it for what it
Yep.
is.
Hey, interns.
Sit down somewhere.
Star Trek. Again, for me personally, I'm out.
I'll end up watching it somehow. I might go with my dad for his birthday or something, because this is... so we're going to start calling it Harry Gaston movie. This is a Harry Gaston movie. Just like Gods of Egypt is a Harry Gaston movie. Movies for guys that like movies. And I feel like Star Trek's going to be that, just because that's what my dad grew up with.
There's pretty stuff, and at least I can say that it looks like... I don't know what race of aliens those are supposed to be because I'm not a Trekkie.
They did a great job.
They look really good.
Even if it might be CG, it
I don't
still
think
looks...
it is, man. I think that's practical.
I hope so.
It looks really good.
Because I know they did some practical with the other ones before.
Right.
So, but they look really good. I think that's what always really intrigued me about Star Wars and Star Trek, is that the creations are just gorgeous.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know if we'll see this in theater. I don't know if I want to see it in theater.
We might do it to just solely review, but, if push comes to shove, I don't know when it comes out, but if it comes out along with any movie that I've been wanting to see, I won't see it. So, everybody wants the biggest reach on the list.
Okay.
This is...
All right. So, most of you watching this are probably know what Dazed and Confused is. Awesome movie.
Cult classic.
Total classic. It, really takes you back. To try to recreate that is almost impossible. To have that same feeling, that same legitimacy, the same reminiscence feeling.
It's just, there's no way that you're going to do it.
Because I feel like that movie was created
now, it's the same
to
director.
remind people of what it was like back then.
This is the same director, Richard Linklater, as Dazed and Confused, and this just doesn't have it.
It's trying too hard. It really is. Sometimes some classics you can't rehash, you can't return, you can't revive them because they are their own thing and they will remain that way.
Yep.
And this is one of those movies, a perfect example of I didn't have any care about anybody in that dang movie.
And we're 80s kids. I mean, that's bad, when you're an 80s, maybe it'd be different if I were a teenager in the 80s, but still, I get the 80s, she gets the 80s, we remember the 80s. This just didn't
Nobody
work.
was even cute.
No.
At all.
And no Matthew McConaughey's.
And if they try to put him in there in some way, shape, or form,
All
I'm cutting everybody up. I'm cutting everybody up. But ultimately, so it's just a bunch of noobs, I guess. Nobody, God, I hate this. Because you can't, I feel like the 80s is one of those decades where people just leave alone. Like I was telling Kyler.
It's a bad decade.
It's like, okay, what was it? The 60s. That 70s show. Awesome. Then they try to do that 80s show. Where'd it go? In the trash, because don't nobody care about the 80s. And I'm sorry if you do, but the 80s, I think that's where the cartoons were really the leaders of the crew.
Yeah. That is pretty much all the big remakes that we're getting are all 80s toys, it seems like. I would skip this entirely.
I wouldn't even watch it if I was stoned and eating pizza. And
that's saying something, because she don't get stoned.
And I eat a lot of pizza. I will eat pizza for whatever reasons.
I think that covers previews for me.
Yes.
All right, moving forward. Okay, so the movie. This is a doozy. I want to go ahead and get out on the table first and foremost, because I know this is a huge question in people's minds. What is this movie in relation to the movie Cloverfield?
It is. So, it is the main reason why people don't like this movie. And it's so hilarious to me because supposedly it's in the spirit of Cloverfield. It's in the same universe.
Let's go ahead and establish that pretty much everything that we talk about is going to be very spoiler filled. because the preview doesn't tell you a whole lot, and that's part of the genius of this movie is that it didn't tell us a whole lot, and so we were learning it as we were going.
I think the people that actually saw the original kind of got an inkling of, okay, so it's just continuing, or is this just a section? So ultimately,
and it has nothing to do with Cloverfield.
Not so much. Not so much at all, you know, because I was expecting Godzilla or Kaiju,
right?
like in the original, but this one was aliens.
Yep.
I said aliens, I did. So
So
that kind of caught me off guard.
And that doesn't happen until 3/4 of the way through the film.
Right. And so ultimately, it's back and forth. So people saying it was just a marketing ploy, but when I actually read the directors and the people that actually screenwrote it, it was actually inspired by... Screenwrit. Ooh.
Words
Screenwriters. The screenwriters, it was actually in the essence of Cloverfield. So it is related, but it's not. So for the people that are going to see it, you don't have to see the original one. And ultimately, I feel like you should come into this one as its own. Would you stop that?
Sorry.
So, and that's the biggest complaint, is that people are saying that the Cloverfield name was just a marketing ploy and that it has nothing to do with the previews that they saw or the movie that they saw.
I'm sorry, but let's be real. I don't recall anybody ever saying this is a sequel to Cloverfield.
That's true.
So there were talks about, it's related in some way, shape, or form, but I don't recall anybody's being like, yo, this is a sequel to Cloverfield. Enjoy.
Which is why some people are mad
that
they did a really sly trick.
But that's their own fault
I feel like they did bring attention to that it was kind of inspired about the same universe, especially with just the opening title, Cloverfield, and then 10 Lane. So they're obviously giving a nod to, even though, we have different monster factors. Monster factors. But ultimately, I just hate that people are so... To me, I'm not offended by it. I like the idea that...
it was amazing.
You can spawn something from garbage and turn it into something that maybe that first one should have been. So ultimately, maybe they can link it and make it better. But ultimately...
Who's to say that, we can't do a spin-off of Shaun of the Dead, right? Where it takes place in the Shaun of the Dead universe, but it has nothing to do with zombies now. And it has to do with the accounting job that his big friend takes. You know what I mean? It's just a comedy. There's no reason why you can't do that. Now, that being said, this didn't take a direct spin-off of anything, which again, and that's actually the second part of this, it's not a spin-off either. It takes place in the, quote, universe, maybe a parallel universe, so to speak. I've done a little research myself. But there is no direct tie to the original film. Right. In fact, the original film takes place in 2007, 2009, one of the two. And there's clearly an iPhone 6 in this movie. So nobody ever mentioned the Cloverfield disaster or anything like that. So clearly that monster does not exist here. So yeah, did they do a clever marketing trick? They sure as hell did. Should you be mad at it? Hell no, man. It was such a good film.
Yeah, because people were seriously mad about the preview itself. And I'm like, well...
What's wrong with the preview?
Because it didn't link anything to Cloverfield. It was a trick as well. And I'm like, even if it had nothing to do with Cloverfield, even if it was called something else, I still would have been entirely intrigued by this preview.
Straight up.
And I think that's what people were missing the focus of. They did a great job with the preview without giving you too much, but still make you want to watch it. If it didn't have the Cloverfield name, I would have still watched it.
Yeah, based on the preview that I saw, I straight would have watched this film.
So people need to sit down about being mad about it because you let yourself get trolled if you're that trollable.
Exactly. Agreed.
So,
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. Lies.
Everything's just falling apart.
The ghost is in the house right
now. we're in the studio, not the house, Monica.
Just cut that out.
So, let's move on. We've established that this is not a Cloverfield sequel. So let's talk about the drama.
The drama.
Or I guess maybe what I mean by the drama is more like the story. So, your basic setup is girl leaves her boyfriend. Girl leaves her boyfriend, has a wreck, gets picked up by John Goodman, who is there in this bunker with I can't remember his name. The guy,
Emmett.
Emmett, yeah.
There's
There's this guy Emmett, and they're holed up because John Goodman believes the end of the world has happened. She thinks that she's being held captive against her will, which
anybody would think that.
She is technically, but that's where the story has such a ride because maybe 25% in, she cracks him in the face. She runs up the stairs. We saw this in the preview. She runs up the stairs. She's going to get out, right? What does she see? A woman who meets fits the description of the kind of stuff that John Goodman had been talking about. She's got like these boils all over her skin and whatnot. She's dying. And he's been saying the air's contaminated and she died. I guess she beats herself to death.
Or just ate her up from the inside out.
And so suddenly you go, oh my God.
It's
real.
This just got real.
He wasn't joking. He was doing this to save her.
Then the movie gets more and more real.
More
And more real.
What happens next? Tell us.
Everything's all, yay, we're going to play some Monopoly and some Life and watch some movies, eat some whatever. And then we got to go flip a switch. And then we figure out that
because the air shuts off. Right?
Yeah, so it's like, ooh, I'm giving too much of a movie. But ultimately, he says he had a daughter, but it turns out that daughter wasn't a daughter. It was probably somebody that might have been abducted some time ago. And that he might have killed this girl.
But without the air quotes, because he really did it.
I'm sorry, spoiler. But it just continues to grow. You almost is like, what's the lesser of the two evils? Where do you even go from here? Do you risk staying here and becoming this crazy pedophile man, whatever, killer, slave for all of eternity until you just try to kill yourself if he allows you to? Or go out in the hot boiling air of boiling death on the inside out.
Whatever the heck is outside.
Either way, you almost want to die.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're gonna die either way.
Because she straight believes that something is going on outside. Now, at this point, for me, I started going, well, maybe he was lying and it was a coincidence.
What I thought. I was like, but
maybe it was just straight coincidence. All right, so my point in all that is to bring up this drama, the story that is taking place. It isn't just streamlined. No, it went all over the place in a good way, in a very good way, and it just it kept you guessing the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's exactly what it should do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the acting. John Goodman scared me.
Yeah, he was so creepy.
Straight up.
He was super creepy.
Scared me. There were times I don't even have words for this. There were times I was legitimately if I were in that room right now, I would be pissing myself.
Ooh, yeah, it was totally creepy. Oh, so totally creepy.
But that's not to underplay the other two either, because they did amazing as well, especially her. I mean, and Emmett did great. He didn't have quite the opportunity that the other two had to act.
He was just the normal, I guess, country kid, which apparently he's catching a lot of flack for now because people are like, oh, he was a dumb character and blah, blah, blah. Well, ultimately, I feel like where we are, he's a very plausible character, and I feel like that you're not going to be you're not going to be locked up in your bunker with some, Brad Pitt and all these hot people that have, or stuff. More than likely you're going to be trapped with somebody you're like, really? Did I really have to get trapped with this dude?
I don't remember who, but there was some comedian way back when that made a joke about that, why is everything that always happened to people in movies always hot people? It's always the hot people it happens to. It never happens to
everybody. Ain't going to be smart.
Like
everybody going to be hot at the same time. Ultimately, it's so. I think everybody did really well everybody was truly believable.
Yeah, and there's not a moment in the movie where I thought anybody did poorly. Everybody, and again, especially John Goodman, I really can't explain that enough. Like this is like
He was perfect.
insane.
He was
like
perfect for this part.
If he doesn't get, I hate to say this. I mean, because I just hate to say this, but if he doesn't get a nomination for this movie, I will be shocked. He did amazing. Creepiest dude I've seen on camera in a long time. So that rounds us into the suspense. All right. Now I talked about the drama and how it kept you guessing, but I want to talk about the suspense, the situations that we found ourselves in sometimes. Like she has to go wandering through a vent at one point, and I felt like physically ill.
I was trying to think of how I would back out.
I was too. I was going, God, I would never be able to turn.
She's so tall in that little vent.
You know, I'm like, how is she? I mean, I just kept like, my heart was just thumping, man. And
it was God.
The scene where they're at the table, they're at the table, like one of the first times they're at the table, and she's trying to screw with John Goodman, you know, and there's just like this tension that builds, and you're like, oh God, it's something's about to happen.
And that's one of those things, because you might be thinking to yourself, they can take him. They can take him. Two people take that. It's all about the fear that he instilled in them.
Yeah. Dude, he slams his hand down, and like I wanted to hide. I'm not joking, man. I wanted to hide. It was terrifying. If John Goodman were in my house and he slammed his hand down like that, I would go for a gun. I would go for the quickest gun I could find. Like, it was petrifying. Mm-hmm. And that's just like, that's just scratching the surface with some of this stuff. Like, the tension build up, again, spoilers as we said, but the tension build up before Emmett dies is insane. I was sitting there like, oh, he's not gonna do anything to Emmett. He's not gonna do anything. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe what he's gonna do is he's gonna like splash because he had those gloves on. Maybe he's gonna splash Emmett in the face and it's just gonna disfigure him or something. No, this motherfucker straight goes
like, bye, Felicia, which was his plan the entire time. But we ain't even got to the alien mess.
Yeah, so let's go to the twist.
So she gets out this bunker after so conveniently being a fashion designer. She made a gas mask suit.
Probably the most unrealistic portion of the film.
Only thing.
But
But
I'll let it go.
So we finally get outside, and the alien ship is flying around.
But you don't know entirely. Like, I saw it in the distance, and I was like, I didn't see that right. Like, but then I was like, yeah, I did. I did see that right. What? No, aliens? And then that thing came up, and I was like, motherfucking aliens. And so you might think that one would be turned off by such a drastic change in tone.
But I wasn't.
Not at all.
Because we got more issues to deal with. It gets real again.
Dude, she has to fight like this big worm dog thing, and she's got to fight, or not kind of fight. She ends up like blowing up this ship and everything. Like, I know this sounds crazy. It sounds like we're making it up. Like, that's not what happens.
But it does go really well together. It wasn't just like, really? And some people may feel that, but that's on your own troll of self. So it went together really well, I feel like.
I was trying to think about the last time a movie did this, and the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is Cabin in the Woods. It's the closest thing that I can compare this to. But this is better. This is, in my opinion, this is better than that.
Cabin in the Woods, gotcha.
But that twist that happens in Cabin in the Woods, and how like the tone really drastically changes.
Because it goes from one thing to the next thing. And you're like, what?
That is what this was like. Like, it 100%. But again, I think even more drastic maybe. And God, it was so good. And, you know, I said last night, like, I couldn't think of anything to gripe about. And the same is still true. But I'm like, okay, what the CG wasn't that great. I'm like, but it really was pretty dang good, you know?
Yeah, for
like
what?
All things considered, because clearly this movie didn't have a huge budget. Like, I mean, I think I read online it had like a $5 million budget. They did some amazing CG. If
it
this
was
movie only had
believable
$5
to me.
million,
That's
you know?
for darn sure.
Yeah, it looked good, man. So, dude, again, when I complain about films and about selling their illusion and making me believe their reality, this movie is the epitome of that. Like this, it did everything in its power to sell its product, and it did such a good job. I mean, I again, without having you all sitting here in front of me to ask questions or debate, I can't say anything else.
It's definitely worth a watch.
It is seriously worth a watch. I hope that if you were wanting to see it, you didn't get to this point because we've told you way too much. But we did warn you, in all fairness, so it's your fault, not ours. I'm good.
Good in the neighborhood.
Boom. Have you seen this film? I hope you have. And if you have, what'd you think about it? What's your favorite scene? What was most suspenseful? Who's your favorite actor? What's the most bullshit time for you?
Peanut butter and
Any
jelly.
of those questions, answer in the comment section below. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud. Hit us up at movieholics.net. Leave us a comment there. Ask a question. That's it.
Other than that, till next time.
Avita Zane.
It's not a sandwich, it's a wrap.
It's not a sandwich. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Start them eggs.
Girl, don't start me.
I gotta pee.